All right. So, without a doubt, COVID has impacted everything, everywhere, and our industry is no exception. In fact, I just read most recently the Appalachian hardware manufacturers canceled their big annual event set for next month due to spikes in COVID. So clearly, we're not out of the woods yet. So I'd like to start by let's ask the panel how, in their opinion, this pandemic has impacted the supply chain and by extension, markets and the high point market. Um, Tom, I'm going to start with you if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, as I think everybody knows, we pushed back our spring market, which is usually in April, to June. And while we did it primarily because of the pandemic, and our best read was that we weren't going to have enough vaccines out there to have people feel safe, the supply chain really had a major impact on our thinking also. Too many vendors were unable to get products shipped over here. The cost of the cans was going through the roof, continues to go through the roof. And we felt that the industry would be better served by having the market later in June. This pandemic has been absolutely terrible. The reps that I've talked to, the retailers that I've talked to, the manufacturers that I've talked to, sales are not the problem. It's delivering the product and getting paid that is the problem. So we've got some issues out there.
Absolutely. Good points. Kevin, from Manwa's perspective, and you're involved in the industry broad-based, the pandemic and its impact on your business and the market.
Look, we all know how terrible this pandemic is for the whole country, or the whole world. The reality is, for home furnishings, it's been an awakening. The consumer discretionary spending is now going to the home. All expectations are it will go to the home probably for the next year. This industry has never been confronted with a bigger demand than supply. And now we're confronted with that dream that we all had and not having any ability to manage it. Also, because of the selling cycles we had, which were based on traditions or the needs of real estate people, we now have a situation where demand is great. We don't have the ability to get together the way we did. And I think what's happening is people are rewriting every rule book, and they're looking at the industry and trying to figure out, okay, what are the needs of the industry, not necessarily the needs of how we behaved in the past based on tradition. So the pandemic is terrible. Our industry has an opportunity it's probably never had before. So it's a really double-edged sword.
Good point. Ed, Jackson Catnapper, one of the leading upholstery makers, how has this impacted the business?
Well, I'd echo everything that Kevin had just said, but I'd add one other thing too, is the amount of cost that are going up and we've have to pass on as a manufacturer, which, the cost of lumber, the cost of foam, and let's not forget about the cost of not only containers, which have been written here and there, truckers. If you have full truckloads, that those prices are up 50, 75%, sometimes almost double in the cost of containers. How's it affected? Every way you said. Sales keep coming in, no matter how much we work. We're working 6 days a week. We are working second shift, just second shifts in all of our factories. And we're fortunate enough to go out and purchase a new factory too. But it boils back to, where's the supplies? Where's the foam? Are we getting enough to do it? Are the kits coming in from overseas quick enough? A container used to be 30 days. Now it's about 45 days. They can't unload at these ports. So there is a lot of business. Business is still good. And, you just have to be honest with all the retailers, and the retailers have to be honest with the consumers.
Absolutely. Well, this kind of segues perfectly into, let's talk about First Tuesday. Obviously, they used to say necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe COVID now for our industry is the mother of invention. In a very short time, First Tuesday went from a pretty good idea. Next month, I understand you have upwards of 125 showrooms going to participate, which to me speaks volume about the opportunity and the need. So let's dive into why we're doing it, who's involved, what needs does it serve for the industry, for suppliers, for retailers and reps. Kevin, you were one of the instrumental guys. Actually, everybody here on this panel was heavily involved. But Kevin, why don't you start us out about, give us, pretend I'm from another planet, which I am anyway, and I've never heard of First Tuesday. Give me kind of the 50-cent version of what it is and why we're doing it.
All right. I have to say it was established based on a reality that we probably won't have a major market. We'll have markets, but not a major market for probably another year. And then the reality is the retailers need to get in front of the supply chain or the manufacturers, if you will, to see product, to see new product, and to have conversations. So what we realized last year, they had that June event, the kind of Renegade event. And, we had probably at Manoir, I'd say 40 or 50 appointments. Then pre-market came and we had, 80 appointments. The reality is we found that our retailers don't want to come to major markets right now, still need to be in front of showrooms and in front of product, but don't want to attend. So based on the reality that nothing exists the way it did, nothing should exist the way it did, was we're in uncharted territories. The industry has to create solutions, whether they're embraced by everybody or not. There has to be options. So First Tuesday was just that. It was a solution, a temporary solution for an issue that could bring this industry together in a safe environment. And the question was, would enough people support it? We seem to have that from the supply side. Now, will the buyers support it? I know at Manoir, we're seeing even this February, we think we'll probably have about 17 appointments. That's not huge, but we see 17 majors that come in our showroom and everybody's buying, that's good. And we see it now, more people are signing on for March, and we believe April will be strong. So again, this is nothing more than a solution, maybe a temporary solution, but an opportunity for this industry that has this biggest, issue with a supply chain and a demand from the consumer that has to be addressed. And we can only address it if we're together. So that's the purpose of this event, and it seems to be picking up steam, if you will.
Right. Ed, Catnapper was early to the game too. Saw the sense of this. What was it about the premise really that attracted your company to get involved in early?
Well, we even heard from a couple dealers, big ones, that said, we're not real excited about going October, September. We reached out to them and said, well, Anthony Tigg lives in Hickory, Brandon Rush lives in Asheboro, and one of our other VPs lives in Charlotte, and they can hop right over there. And we always would offer them a one-on-one. And then we heard about First Tuesdays and said, that's even a better idea. And yes, more and more retailers do feel better going to a one-on-one and not being involved in the crowds. They don't, a lot of them are still a little skeptical. Some still are, but more and more are coming. And we have a fair amount of people coming down again with appointments already, as we have. And I think the main thing for us is we are actually out promoting it. All of our reps have been schooled to tell what we're doing in the market. It's just not like we're opening the door. Our showroom's the exact same as it was in October. It's all, we haven't moved anything. Nothing's been removed. All of our reps have the price list. They know what's there. And we have our reps pushing the dealers and saying, if you want to come down for a one-on-one meeting, they're there. You can visit a couple other ones, but here's what you're going to see. And if retailers don't go down, I spent a lot of years in retail visiting markets on the other end. If you're not going down and seeing what the trends are, the new colors, suppose you're at a market one time and you never saw power headrest, what's new, what's innovative. And that's what they do need. Not just go down to look for supplies, but when this thing ends, they better be back on their A game. They better know what they need to put on their floors.
Kevin, and then I want to get Tom's take on this from the Market Authority perspective. Kevin, basically, what goes on at First Tuesday, and what are you doing? Are you kind of really encouraging your reps? What we've heard here at IHFRA from some reps that I guess don't fully understand it is their initial thought is, well, there's no product. Why would I come to High Point if I can't deliver? What are some of the residual benefits? Obviously, it's not just about taking an order. What are some of the discussions that take place there?
Well, first of all, it's about each person that opens up their commitment. And as Ed has said, Catnapper has made a commitment. I will tell you, I know the major showrooms have. Manwell, we have an 80,000 square foot showroom. It is showroom ready as if it was High Point or October or April. We have new product each market. Each first Tuesday, there are new products. There's new covers. Our customers no longer can travel to Asia to do the R&D over there. So what we're doing is we're bringing it to High Point. So every month they're going to see new developments. They're seeing new mechanisms that we have. They're seeing new covers that we have. They're seeing new frames that we have. The appetite for new product is not as great as existing product. They need things now. But the fact of the matter is, they're seeing trends. They're seeing innovation. They're seeing things that they've only been used to seeing twice a year. And we'll have something for them. We won't have 80 new products as we do in October or in April, but they're going to see new products every time they come to our showroom. And that's been our commitment. And it will be a showroom ready. 80,000 square feet of showroom is complete, and it's ready, and it's like a regular market. And that's how we're treating it.
Perfect. Tom, from the Market Authority's perspective, talk to me about the premise of First Tuesday and how it makes sense to you or where it makes sense to you.
Sure. Well, first of all, I think we all understand that this is an industry that thrives on relationships. And now with COVID, it's an industry that has to thrive on relationships in a safe manner. And that's what First Tuesday does. It allows those relationships to continue on a face-to-face basis in a safe environment. And the relationships don't just exist between and among buyers and sellers. Those relationships also exist between and among cities and buyers and sellers. And so this is an opportunity for High Point to continue to wave the flag that we believe that we have a longstanding tradition in the home furnishings industry, but we also have a longstanding future in the home furnishings industry. I mean, one of the things that I think we all cringe at is, and Kevin kind of alluded to it, is when we hear somebody say, well, we've always done it that way. And that's probably going to be the death of a lot of people in this business who are unwilling or unable to change. And so whether First Tuesday lasts for a year, 2 years, or forever, nobody understands what the new normal is going to be. I don't pretend to understand what the new normal is going to be. What I hope it will be is 2 markets a year in High Point, supplemented by whatever the buyers and the sellers need to be successful. That's it. If it's a First Tuesday, fine. If it's a golf outing in spring, we don't really care. We think that the value of the relationship is important. We think that the opportunity to put people safely together face to face while we're in the pandemic, and then coming out of the pandemic, the industry needs to figure out what they need to be more successful. And I would respectfully suggest that they need more than twice a year opportunities to be face to face.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, the benefit for the suppliers is pretty evident, and for the retailers. Guys, talk to me a minute for the reps that are sitting on the fence. What is the opportunity? Help me help them understand why they really should be embracing this. So should they be embracing it, and why? Kevin, let me start with you.
You know, the rep is such a key component of the sales process in this industry. And there's no rep that would not or should not take advantage of an opportunity to be with their customer in a showroom and visit with new product. Again, during markets are huge, and they're eventful, and they're consumed with social activity. And it probably is more difficult for a rep today to interact with a customer one-on-one and spend a lot of time in a showroom. The First Tuesday event, again, is it is a custom market that a rep could actually spend a lot of time with their customer in a showroom with top management and have access to everybody. So again, you can excite them with new product. You can excite them with being with them without distractions of a market and all this socializations that this industry has been confronted with. We're now with the pandemic, it's not about events as much as about business. And that's where the reps today could take advantage of a platform that they know they're going to write an order, and they know they're going to spend time with the customer, with top management in the company, in front of new product. It's a win-win.
Ed, would you want to add anything to that?
It's about getting, it's about also to to keep continue developing the relationship. Sure, the reps have the relationship when they go in and out, but it just shows the commitment from the rep that they have to invite somebody on a one-on-one basis. And quite frankly, we have 3 management people there, 3 VP of sales. They'll take them around, they'll be handled. And you continue with those relationships. Hey, there's nothing better than seeing, touch, feel, right, in a piece of furniture. And to Kevin's point, that's what they need to do. They need to come look at the product, find the trends, everything that Kevin said, I would echo. But I mean, the reps, they benefit. They get a placement. It's how much is it? You know, like they said, like Kevin said, you write orders, you get a new placement, and that's what it's all about.
All right. As First Tuesday exists right now, is this also a viable opportunity for the e-com guys? And what about the design community?
From my standpoint, don't know, because I don't know if the higher end companies, if you're talking about designers in the design community, we're not in that business, but we do have e-com people. I usually find that e-com people, as a rule of thumb, the e-com vendors, I should say, when they come through, they're more about just relationship, what's going on. I need new pictures, that kind of things.
Right.
Let's just say the Wayfairs of the world. So to me, I don't know if it's so much of a benefit for them.
Kevin, what do you think?
I don't think it's for us to define who it's a benefit to. The reality is there's 100+ showrooms. I've talked to a bunch of mattress people that are somewhat concerned about a mattress event they didn't have January. When do they introduce product? And a lot of them have showrooms in High Point. They're gonna open up. So that's a whole nother category other than upholstery or case goods. So the e-commerce is a channel. If they're smart, they should see what's going on in terms of trends, what's going on in terms of new product. So again, we're not dictating who should show up, and we're not dictating what people should do. What we're saying is this is a platform open up to everybody. And if you're smart, you don't know what tomorrow is going to be. So you better take advantage today of the opportunities. So tomorrow you'll have a future versus you'll be behind the 8 ball.
Right. Good. Recently, you guys launched myfirsttuesday.com. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the purpose is and how that helps clarify the event?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about it. FurnitureDealer.net, incredible company, came to us and they developed this. And to be honest with you, there's no money behind First Tuesday. It's showrooms coming together and people coming together and trying to benefit the industry. So FurnitureDealer.net came to us with a solution to make the shopping experience better for our retail partners. Now, not every showroom is open. We all know there's got 11 million square feet of showroom space in High Point. So to streamline the shopping experience, to make it easier, they've created a directory, a platform for First Tuesday. They've listed all the exhibitors. They put the categories they're in. They're showcasing product information for manufacturers. So to be honest with you, this is another ability for a buyer to come in and to be able to navigate through High Point. And we know the value of High Point. There's just so many showrooms that are here, but to have it a seamless experience. And the better we can make the experience for the retail partners that we have, the easier it's going to be for everybody, the exhibitors as well as the retailers. And myfirsttuesday.com does that. And it has a lot of information, and they're taking information. They're taking it from everybody for free. So this is an industry coming together, trying to create a solution during a pandemic and having a platform that's available to everybody. And now with companies coming in and spending their own money to support this effort. It's incredible.
So Tom, I've got a question for you, and you touched on it earlier, but I mean, to me, it sounds like you guys have invested, or the industry as a whole has invested just a tremendous amount of time, energy, resources that have gone into First Tuesday. But do we feel like this is going to become a perpetual pre-market, primarily for, the bigger suppliers and retailers, compared to some of the smaller guys? I mean, I know you guys have talked about it, but just to clarify again.
Sure. Well, let me go back to something that Ray asked a little bit earlier with respect to designers, and because that category wasn't covered. When Kevin and his group started First Tuesday, it was real easy then for the two designer associations to sort of piggyback on it. So we do have an outlet for designers who are interested in the higher end product in that same time frame, that Tuesday and Wednesday, the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month, which is a very good positive thing, and adds more showrooms that will be open then for, as Kevin said, anybody who wants to shop can come and shop. Stephen, I think it's really all about preventing, or it's about presenting opportunities that any exhibitor and any buyer who want to get together can have that opportunity to get together. COVID has presented some difficulties in terms of reps getting into retail offices, presented some opportunities getting into designer workspaces or designer offices. A lot of folks in the design trade are working from home. They don't want strangers in their home. Some of the retail offices are in fact closed. So it's a safe space, it's a neutral space. And the fact that you're surrounded by product and you have an opportunity to have management people and reps in the same room, it just makes a lot of sense. Whether it will continue beyond COVID, how this industry responds, everybody's got their own crystal ball and they can make their own decisions. I think it's important. Kevin talked about the size of his showroom. A lot of folks have, and I don't care what size your showroom is, it's expensive to maintain a permanent showroom. And so using it multiple times than just twice a year also makes really good sense to me. And it's just a question of making sure that your reps and your customers agree with that philosophy if you're going to staff it.
And Ed, let me ask you this question. So how many of your reps have become involved? I mean, I know you said earlier that they know what the drill is. They are prepared 24/7. I mean, how many of your reps are coming on a monthly basis? Is it just based on the demand?
No, we don't. In order to be safe and everything and practice, we do not. I shouldn't say that. The North Carolina rep has been there, or the Virginia rep has been there, but we don't want the reps to travel into that. We'd rather them stay on the road because our management can more than handle them. And we, like I said, we have 3 of them, so we set the appointment up with them. But it's still the rep that sold them to go down. Yeah. When I said sold them, informed them, because again, our reps have a video of our whole showroom, how it was set up in October, and it's the exact same as it was then. It is now. So we'd rather have management take them through and limit it and keep it as less people as possible.
Okay, and so let me ask you guys this, and I'll ask you this, Kevin, because I know you and I know a lot of your sales team, but how are the reps who choose not to participate the first Tuesday affected? Are they putting their territories at risk? Or are they, how are they being affected?
Well, first of all, our reps, we invite our reps if they want to come. And the ones who are bringing customers actually want to be with the customer. And we have told them, if you don't feel safe, you shouldn't come. It's up to you. We don't care. We have our senior management is going to attend every market, from the CEO and all of our VPs. So we have management there. But I will tell you, the reps that we've had, it seems to be the same reps. And there's probably 7 different territories, 8 territories that have come. There's nobody at risk. If you bring a customer, if a rep brings a customer and doesn't show up, the customer is going to be serviced. But I'm going to go back to, that one-on-one time between a rep and a customer. It pays dividends. We all know it. It's all about relationships. But there is no body that should be threatened by not showing up. The VPs are there to support the customers and support the reps. And but we have more and more reps wanting to be in the first Tuesday, which they want to see the product. And then when they're there, I will tell you, they do video chats with other customers that are not showing up. So the reps have taken advantage of a finished showroom.
Okay. And just because I'm familiar with what Manwa did, but it sounds like Ed over at Catnapper, they did similar things. What tools have you given your reps to kind of who cannot come to First Tuesday, what tools do they have in their arsenal to walk customers through a digital showroom or show them
What,
the products?
yeah, what we're doing with our reps is, number one, we've taken videos of all of our products as well as product photography. So they're giving that information. Then, then so then we've also, we'll take their customer and them through a walkthrough in the showroom by an iPhone. I mean, that's easy to do. At the end of the day, people see a picture, they want to sit on it, they want to touch it. There's a lot of new articles that we have, and there's a big advantage of being in the showroom. And that's what we've encouraged our reps to do. If they don't feel safe, they shouldn't, but they should invite the customer, because what's being shown is unique and what's being shown is different. And that this industry lives on newness and excitement. And if we want to get back to exciting the consumer, because let's face it, we've all disappointed the consumer on delivery times. We better do something in 4 or 5 months from now to get them back engaged.
Very good. And Tom, this one's for you. Just, we've had a lot of questions from our members, just wondering, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but why do they need to attend? Right now there is no product. It costs a lot for a lot of folks to come to High Point. It costs a lot for them to send their dealers, and not every dealer is a major customer. So what would you say to those guys to get them on board?
Well, I think Kevin said it best. This may not work for everybody. This may not be the kind of situation that everybody needs. I don't know about you, but I don't think there's anybody that I ever talked to that isn't just zoomed out, and they just don't. They really crave the human touch. Just look at sort of the overall situation in society today. I mean, I had a colleague walk in the other day and said, my husband and I have talked about everything. We've watched all the movies we want to watch. We can't go anywhere. I'm going to kill somebody pretty soon. I mean, just get the heck out of the office, if nothing else. But I think there's a real strong business need to be together, continue to build those relationships. Companies are coming and going. The marketplace is changing. I wish more manufacturers and reps would have a bigger and better understanding of the entire marketplace and help educate their retailers. I think the ones that are going to be successful are the ones that are not only have great product, but they have great information and great tools to help their retailer be successful. And that's going to take a building process and an opportunity to spend time together and learn and to find out what people need. Product's critical, but it's not the whole equation.
Well, this leads perfectly, Tom. Thank you. Into my next question, I'm going to ask it of Ed, and then I want Kevin to weigh in. How has First Tuesday made you a better supplier to your customers? And what have you learned during these meetings that you might not have had the opportunity to discuss during the chaos of, say, a typical market?
Well, what we have really found out that if you're not in the hustle bustle of a normal October market, when we get back to normalcy, they love the one-on-one. They love the strict attention. They're there a lot longer. You have a lot more captive time. And they're getting a lot more information. I mean, heck, the people are taken through, like Tom just said, they need information as well. Let's face it, the ones that are really, the retailers that are really thinking ahead, they're ordering furniture for 4 months down the road. We get that. But when we return to normalcy, they better have their floors all in A1 shape. They better have the right things back on the floors, because this will end. Now, hopefully, it doesn't end for a long time. But when it does and we get back to normalcy, that's when, and we tell them that too, by the way. We say, when this ends, here's what you need. You need to have this. We want you to have this. It just has built up better partnerships too with our retailers, and we're finding that they realize we're reaching out and we're there for them.
Kevin, how about from you?
Yeah, I want to agree with Ed, and I will say what it's really done for us. It's forced us to be better in the game. We have to have a showroom ready, and we have to have new product every month, because that's our commitment. But what it's done is there's a lot of bad news being given to all the retailers. There's price increases, there's delays, there's supply chain problems. We want to be transparent, and having a once a month meeting. I will tell you, we've had some retailers that have come back every month since November. They come back on these first Tuesdays. They're in front of us. We're not hiding from the bad news. We're not hiding from our increases. We're not hiding from anything. All right. And we like the idea to have conversations with them. So what First Tuesday has done for us, and honestly, we hope it lasts for a long time, was it's made our commitment to communications and transparency even more important. And this industry needs that today more than ever. So again, I'll go back to, this is a platform that's unique to the industry. The industry doesn't know what they need. They don't know what they want. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So for today, we're taking advantage of it, and it's forcing us to create some disciplines that will be better for us moving forward.
Good. Tom, you have your ear to the ground. People call you all day long. You talk to a lot of retailers. Anecdotally, what has been your sense? What kind of feedback have you heard from the community, both retailers and suppliers, about First Tuesday?
Well, I think there's some shared concern and confusion. Obviously, there's some folks that are sort of unwilling to embrace the change. But I think anybody who recognizes the value of constantly being in touch, and anybody that recognizes the value of trying to figure out how to get a leg up on their competition, how to deal with this pandemic, have been very favorably disposed. You do have travel issues, quite frankly. Whether they feel safe when they're here, many of them have to get on airplanes. So what we're seeing is more people spending more time in automobiles, driving longer distances. We've had some folks driving much longer than they normally would to come to a market, but once again, they perceive that very high value. This is an industry that is slow to change. That's, in some ways it's good, in other ways it's bad. So there's been some interest. I think as this thing goes on, look what happened to pre-market. Pre-market at its peak prior to the pandemic was 80, 90 companies, 20 sponsors, 80, 90 companies totally. We had over 300 last time. I think we're going to have over 300 this time. So people are looking for a leg up, and this gives them that leg up, I think.
Perfect. There seems to be a movement growing. Everybody's looking to try to control what they can control in an arena of chaos thanks to the pandemic. I know Klausner is doing something. They have this thing called Showroom on the Road, where they're just trying to be customer centric. Are you guys hearing anybody else doing anything like that? This would be kind of in addition to the First Tuesday, individual companies doing anything innovative or a little differently to reach their customers during the pandemic?
Ray, one of the things that we're doing, and because we see people using it, is there's a piece of software out there called Manaport, and folks are able to take pictures of their showroom, and then as a buyer hovers over a particular SKU, it will give information. The technology is very, very good and fairly inexpensive. And so we are building in, we hope that within the next 30 days, we can announce that they can become the official software for use on our website, on the highpointmarket.org website, so that when a buyer goes to look at an exhibitor, that they'll be able to use that software to see product. So that would be for those probably who are too far away or don't want to travel to First Tuesday, but it gives a regular, easy to find 24/7 opportunity to make that Zoom call that Kevin referred to a while ago much more robust, and give really good product information. Once again, does not take the place of being there in person, seeing the color, sitting on it, all the things that you gotta do. But I think it will be a big help, and we're going to see more and more exhibitors using that as time goes on.
Yeah, it seems like a good solution. Absolutely. Kevin or Ed, anything kind of like that Klausner Showroom on the Road that you're hearing about, or you guys are working up?
We are not. We're just concentrating on First Tuesdays right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. The biggest issue we have is the supply chain and delivering product, and that's our focus. And we believe First Tuesday enables us to be more transparent and to show new product on a regular basis, and it's working for us. But we want people to be and see the product. And technology is wonderful, but we have a very old industry. I'm not sure how many people know how to click on anything these days.
Absolutely. Steve,
Not many.
he's talking to me. I know. Yeah.
Well, Tom, we're talking about First Tuesday being kind of giving suppliers and retailers a leg up. Talk to me about High Point and how this is giving High Point a leg up and the potential benefits to some year-round revenue for our local economy.
Well, thanks for that opportunity because, we, as the market authority, get funded by state and county and local governments, and we always make that argument for funding based on economic impact. And as I talk to our community here in the Triad, love it or hate it, everybody here recognizes the value of High Point when you look at the restaurants and the other amenities that are available. High Point is a town of a little over 100,000 people that has bigger suppliers than most towns of 250 or 300,000 people. So we depend on the market. The pandemic has really hurt our small businesses, just like it's hurt small businesses in so many other communities. And I really believe that this First Tuesday effort with exhibitors and buyers and reps, hopefully spending the night or using caterers or going out for lunch or dinner, will help to keep some of these smaller businesses open. And then they'll be open to service the industry during the regular market time. So it's really critical to keep monies flowing into this community so that we can serve the industry in a big way during our spring and fall markets.
Yeah, as a High Point local, I couldn't agree with you more. One more question, and it's probably impossible to answer at this point, but when will we see the return of a twice a year High Point market?
Or will we?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, we had one market in 20. We're going to have two markets in 21. We're pretty confident June and October. That makes that October market really quick after the June market. And then our plans in 2022 are April and October. We have dates set. And if you believe what you hear from the quote unquote experts about the pandemic, we hope we'll be out of the woods by 2022. We have enjoyed a really good international attendance. I'm worried about our international attendance coming back from a buyer perspective, not only in terms of health, but some of the countries who we've not exactly made happy. I just as a sidebar, I called on 5 of the major top 10 buyers in China over the last 10 years to get them to come to High Point, and we got them. And I don't know if they'll ever come back. Now that's bad news for anybody that wants to export product or even sell into some of these Chinese buyers. And that's a huge, huge market there. So the markets are changing. The pandemic has hurt. The global political situation has not helped. And we as an industry have to sort of put our heads together and figure out what we want from our markets. We hope that the 111-year history of High Point makes it a critical part of that conversation. But at the end of the day, money talks and everything else walks. And so if the money comes to High Point, we'll be successful, and that's buyer and seller. I know that the exhibitors spend the money, but I've been in the trade show business a long, long time. And I can tell you that if the buyers decide they want to have a meeting in Nome, Alaska, guess where all the exhibitors are going to be? So
I'll get my winter coat.
Exactly. So we need to make darn sure that High Point does everything it possibly can to make buyers and sellers feel comfortable and make sure that it's an economic advantage for them to be here.
Well, terrific. I cannot believe this, but we are out of time. I want to thank all of you, each of you, for your wisdom and your transparency. I think this was a really important webinar because there is a lot of confusion, or there was a lot of confusion about First Tuesday. What is it? What is it not? And I think you've brought clarity to that. And as we said earlier, Stephen is going to post this on IHFRA's YouTube channel, so anybody who missed it can see it. So again, we're out of time. I can't thank you enough for helping us turn a spotlight on a topic that we needed to discuss. So with that, I'll thank you again.
Hey, Ray,
Yes,
if
sir.
anybody has any questions, ask them free to send an email. We'll answer them.
Perfect.
Absolutely
I'll
right. Absolutely right. Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions.
Any of the reps, yeah.
Good deal. Well, thank you again. This was great. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. And there goes the premise about the old dog learning a new trick. So we'll see you all soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.